To be engaged to such a lovely lady, and my goodness, I was lucky enough to marry her.
There's a great myth in the world that people think that Harry is James Hewitt's son. That's impossible.
The marriage problems of Charles and Diana have cast a shadow over the royal family. Now the Queen has decided to bring the whole issue to a head by advising them to divorce.
The Prince now faces some difficult choices. Should he seek a divorce? Should he marry Mrs. Parker Bowles?
The marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, once hailed as the wedding of the century, began with a fairy tale allure that captured the world's imagination. From the lavish ceremony watched by millions to the whispers of infidelity and deep-seated unhappiness that followed, their relationship was anything but a fairy tale. But beneath the glamorous surface of their royal union lay a story of profound turmoil and betrayal. How did a love story that seemed destined for greatness unravel into a public spectacle of heartbreak and scandal? What secret tensions and hidden betrayals lurked behind closed palace doors? How did a match that promised so much end in a dramatic and tragic downfall? Let's find out. Charles Mountbatten-Windsor meets Diana Spencer. The first meeting between Charles Mountbatten-Windsor and Diana Spencer reads like something out of a modern fairy tale with a twist of reality. In a 1981 interview with the Telegraph, Charles recounted their unusual encounter in 1977, describing a youthful, vibrant Diana amidst a plowed field. But their initial meeting was anything but typical, marked by two significant red flags. Firstly, Diana was just 16 years old at the time, while Charles was 29. Such a stark age difference should have raised eyebrows, but it was overlooked. Secondly, Charles was romantically involved with Diana's older sister, Sarah, when they first crossed paths. Despite these hurdles, Diana managed to captivate Charles's attention almost instantly. Their encounter at a shooting party hosted by Sarah marked the beginning of a complex and unexpected journey. Charles's interest in Diana became evident when he invited her to show him the gallery at her family home, a gesture Diana later cherished. Their budding connection, however, faced immediate challenges. Sarah, who had once been Charles's girlfriend, eventually revealed she wasn't in love with him, leading to the end of their relationship. This revelation paved the way for Diana and Charles, though their path was far from straightforward. In May 1980, Sarah married Neil McCorkadale, a farmer and former Coldstream Guards officer, in a charming ceremony at St. Mary's Church in Althorpe, followed by a reception at the Spencer family estate. Sarah's wedding was a classic affair, featuring a high-necked lace gown and the iconic Spencer family tiara, a dazzling creation of diamonds and silver. With Sarah's departure from the romantic equation, Diana and Charles had a chance to rekindle their connection. They reunited at Charles's 30th birthday party, but didn't see each other again for 2 years. Their next encounter at the home of Diana's friend Philip took a somber turn with the passing of Charles's beloved uncle, Lord Mountbatten. Diana, moved by Charles's grief, felt compelled to offer comfort. She vividly described the moment of sitting beside him on a bale of hay, discussing the sorrow of Lord Mountbatten's funeral. Diana's empathy struck a chord with Charles, and soon their friendship deepened into a romance. This period of their relationship was marked by Charles introducing Diana to new experiences, like fishing, and inviting her to the royal family's Balmoral estate. What began as a seemingly idyllic affair, filled with shared moments and mutual affection, appeared to be the start of a promising future. Little did they know, this romance was just the beginning of a journey fraught with challenges and complexities that would soon unfold in the public eye. The royal engagement, from fairy tale to foreshadowing trouble. In a twist of fate, in a romance quickly gaining public attention, Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer's engagement was officially announced on February 24, 1981. The news came as little surprise to those following their whirlwind courtship, which had blossomed into a full-fledged engagement after just 6 months of dating. Their joint appearance with the BBC at Buckingham Palace captured the nation's imagination. Diana, radiant and overjoyed, and Charles visibly thrilled that Diana had agreed to marry him. Charles revealed that he had proposed during a private dinner at Buckingham Palace 3 weeks before the announcement. He wanted Diana to have time to reflect on her decision while she was preparing for a trip to Australia. However, Diana's acceptance was immediate and enthusiastic. Soon after, she moved out of her Kensington apartment and into Clarence House, where the world would soon be introduced to her iconic engagement ring and her distinctive style. Diana made her first public appearance wearing a cobalt blue skirt suit, showcasing her stunning engagement ring, a piece that sparked considerable intrigue. The ring, inspired by a brooch Prince Albert had commissioned for Queen Victoria in 1840, featured a striking large sapphire surrounded by 12 round diamonds set in 18-karat white gold. Its unique design was a nod to royal history, and its unconventional beauty captivated the public. However, the engagement announcement wasn't without its awkward moments. During their somewhat uncomfortable interview, Diana affirmed her feelings with a confident, "of course," when asked if she was in love. Charles, on the other hand, offered a more ambiguous response, saying, "whatever in love means," and cast an uneasy glance downward. This exchange hinted at the complexities that would later trouble their marriage. As the couple prepared for their wedding, they discussed the public's reaction to their engagement in an interview with Andrew Gardner and Angela Rippon, CBE. The couple was inundated with letters and gifts, many from children who had put considerable effort into their presents. Diana was deeply touched by these gestures, reflecting the public's overwhelming enthusiasm and affection for the soon-to-be royal couple. Despite the excitement surrounding their engagement, the future would hold significant challenges for Charles and Diana. Their fairy tale romance was just beginning, and the road ahead would soon reveal the turbulent twists and turns of their extraordinary story. The wedding of the century. As the date for the wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer approached, Diana faced a whirlwind of emotions and doubts. Initially, her hesitations were just fleeting thoughts, but they intensified when she discovered a bracelet Charles had intended for his former girlfriend, Camilla Parker Bowles. According to Andrew Morton's 1992 biography, Diana, Her True Story in Her Own Words, this revelation nearly led Diana to call off the wedding altogether. Ultimately, Diana decided to go through with it, largely due to the practical advice from her sisters. They reminded her that the plans were already set in motion and it was too late to back out. With a heavy heart, she followed their counsel and prepared for the wedding, unaware of the trials and turbulence that lay ahead. On the eve of the wedding, Diana's resolve was tested further. She spent a lively evening at Clarence's house with her sisters, only to be surprised by Charles, who presented her with a signet ring featuring his Prince of Wales feathers and a heartfelt note. This gesture helped soothe her anxieties and reinforced her commitment to the upcoming nuptials. The grand event took place on July 29, 1981, at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. It was a historic occasion, being the first time in 300 years that a British citizen married an heir to the throne. The wedding, watched by 750 million people across 74 countries, was a lavish spectacle that cost nearly $48 million, highlighting its extraordinary nature. Princess Diana dazzled in an ivory silk taffeta gown adorned with over 10,000 micro-pearls and intricate hand embroidery. Her family's Spencer tiara, worn by her sisters before her, completed the regal look. Despite her personal doubts, Diana felt like the luckiest girl in the world, and Charles seemed equally enchanted. The public shared in their joy, showering the couple with approximately 3,000 gifts. High-profile presents included a Steuben glass bowl from the Reagans, an Art Deco clock from Cartier, and a diamond and sapphire pendant ring from Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Fahd. Charles even admitted to a friend that he was overwhelmed with emotion during the festivities. Yet the wedding was not without its quirks. Diana made a notable change to her vows by omitting the word obey, and their vow recital was marred by small errors. Diana mispronounced Charles's full name, and Charles incorrectly pledged to give Diana his goods instead of his worldly goods. To top it off, Charles forgot to kiss Diana immediately after their vows, though they later shared a public kiss on the Buckingham Palace balcony in front of a cheering crowd of 600,000. As Princess of Wales, Diana took on royal duties with grace, representing the Queen and engaging in numerous charitable endeavors. She was particularly known for her work with Barnardo's, Great Ormond Street Hospital, and various other causes, including AIDS awareness and landmine clearance. One of the most iconic images of her is from a 1997 visit to Angola, where her work with the Halo Trust charity highlighted her dedication to humanitarian causes. Despite the glamorous veneer, Diana's journey was fraught with challenges, but her impact and legacy endured long after the wedding bells faded. The birth of Prince William. After their grand wedding, Charles and Diana embarked on a 3-month honeymoon, setting sail on the royal yacht Britannia. Their journey took them from Egypt to the Greek islands, with the final leg spent at a hunting lodge in Balmoral Castle, Scotland. Though their initial months as a married couple seemed idyllic, there were subtle signs of the challenges to come. Though neither they nor the public paid much heed, the first year of their marriage was marked by joyous milestones. Diana quickly adapted to royal life, accompanying Charles to significant events, including the state opening of Parliament. The couple's big news came shortly after. Diana was pregnant. The announcement thrilled the world, but Diana herself was less certain. In a letter to her personal secretary, Jane Parsons, she expressed her surprise at the news. During her pregnancy, Diana struggled with feelings of inadequacy. At one point, she even deliberately threw herself down a flight of stairs. Thankfully, both she and the baby were unharmed. On June 21, 1982, Diana and Charles welcomed their first child, Prince William. The birth, celebrated as a fairy tale moment, was a high point in their marriage at that time. Diana made the unconventional decision to give birth at the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital in London, a departure from the traditional palace births of previous royals. In a notable break from tradition, Prince Charles stayed by her side throughout the process. He was the first royal father to attend the birth of his child, a move that garnered considerable attention. Charles managed to adjust his schedule to be present for William's birth, even though Diana's natural labor proved challenging and William had to be induced. Charles's presence was a source of support for Diana, and he expressed his deep joy and gratitude in letters to friends and family. In a heartfelt note to his godmother, Lady Patricia Brabourne, Charles conveyed that the arrival of his son meant more to him than he could have imagined. He also highlighted how the experience had strengthened their bond. Charles's enthusiasm for fatherhood was palpable. He continued to share his happiness in letters to friends like Hugh and Emily Van Cutsem, which were later published in Jonathan Dimbleby's 1994 biography of the Prince of Wales. Diana, too, was overjoyed at the arrival of their son and appreciated Charles's support during the birth. Their shared excitement marked a brief, bright chapter in their marriage, as they welcomed their firstborn into a world of royal tradition and personal joy. The birth of Prince Harry. The arrival of Prince William marked a high point in Charles and Diana's fairy tale narrative, capturing the world's imagination with their apparent bliss. However, as time went on, cracks started showing, and the birth of their second son, Prince Harry, highlighted the underlying strains in their relationship. In September 1984, Diana and Charles were excited to learn they were expecting their second child. This news was particularly poignant for Diana, who had suffered a traumatic miscarriage following her first pregnancy announcement. The emotional toll had left her feeling unsure about her ability to carry a child to term. Charles, however, was reportedly disappointed when he learned that their second child was also a boy. Diana had confided in her close friend James Coldhurst about Charles's desire for a daughter, which only added to the tension. Despite this, Diana tried to keep the baby's gender a secret for as long as possible to avoid further disappointment. On September 15, 1984, Diana gave birth to Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten-Windsor, known as Prince Harry. The birth came after 9 hours of labor without induction, and Diana's second biography suggests that Charles's reaction was less than enthusiastic. He was reportedly disappointed not only by Harry's gender, but also by his red hair, a trait from Diana's family, and expressed dissatisfaction with the delay in Harry's christening, which occurred in December. In a 1985 interview with ITN, Charles and Diana attempted to address the swirling rumors about their relationship. When journalist Alistair Burnett asked Diana about the challenges of adjusting to public life, she admitted the difficulties but refrained from criticizing Charles. In contrast, Charles's response to whether they had disagreements seemed to indirectly acknowledge their marital tensions, suggesting that all couples fight. Diana later revealed that Charles's comments during the interview and his reaction to Harry's birth deeply hurt her. She described the period leading up to Harry's birth as one where she and Charles had been closer than ever. However, Harry's arrival marked a turning point that she felt triggered the eventual breakdown of their marriage. The joy of their second son's arrival was overshadowed by growing discord, setting the stage for the challenges that would follow in their relationship. The infidelity scandal. The cracks in Charles and Diana's marriage became increasingly evident as their relationship was marred by infidelity and public scandal. Diana's anguish reached its peak when she discovered that Charles had rekindled his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, her former lover. In her autobiography, Diana described this revelation as the worst moment of her life. Determined to salvage her marriage, Diana took the bold step of confronting Camilla at a birthday celebration in 1989. According to Diana, this confrontation was one of the bravest acts of her decade-long marriage. She confronted Camilla with the knowledge of the affair, hoping to put an end to it. Despite her efforts, the affair continued and became even more scandalous. The affair, which had become an open secret among the royals, was thrust into the global spotlight following the leak of a phone conversation between Charles and Camilla. The transcript of their intimate and controversial conversation was first published by an Australian newspaper, then a German outlet, and eventually by British tabloids. The media frenzy labeled the affair as adultery, given that Camilla was married to Andrew Parker Bowles, whom she had married after Charles's departure on a 6-month Royal Navy tour. In a bid to address the mounting scandal, Charles admitted to the affair during a live television interview with Jonathan Dimbleby. Initially, he had denied being unfaithful, but later conceded that his marriage had irretrievably broken down. Diana responded to this admission in her 1995 BBC One Panorama interview, where she famously remarked that their marriage felt overrun by 3 people due to Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla. As the affair became public knowledge, Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles announced their divorce, stating that they had been living apart for 2 years prior to their official separation. This development fueled intense speculation about the future of Charles and Diana's marriage, with many wondering if they would soon follow suit. Diana's subsequent interviews revealed her deep-seated bitterness towards Charles, whom she felt had constantly made her feel inadequate. The situation was further complicated by Diana's alleged affair with British Army Captain James Hewitt, which began in 1986. The affair, which lasted 4 years, was brought to light by Hewitt in his memoir and interviews. Hewitt claimed that Diana's relationship with him was a response to Charles's infidelity, adding another layer of complexity to the troubled marriage. The separation and divorce of Charles and Diana. The fairy tale of Charles and Diana unraveled in dramatic fashion. On December 9, 1992, the couple made their separation public in a joint appearance before the House of Commons. John Major, then Prime Minister, announced that they would co-parent amicably, but given their different locations, Charles in London and Diana in Northeast England, many doubted this claim. The New York Times provided additional context, revealing that the separation had been ordered by the Queen herself. Despite the palace's assurance that no third parties were involved and that all rumors of affairs were unfounded, the drama surrounding their split continued to captivate the public. The situation took another twist when The Sun released transcripts of a recorded conversation between Diana and her friend James in January 1990. Although the conversation was less scandalous than the infamous Charles-Camilla dialogue, it raised eyebrows about Diana's personal life. However, the sight of Charles and Diana together on May 30, 1993, during a royal event suggested a possible reconciliation, though it proved to be their final public appearance as a couple. Their last public outing together was a service commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Battle of the Atlantic. After this, Diana and Charles went their separate ways. Diana focused on charitable work, hospital visits, and even worked with a voice coach to enhance her public speaking. Charles continued with his royal duties. The divorce process was formalized on December 21, 1990, when Queen Elizabeth II wrote to the couple urging them to finalize their split. After much deliberation, Diana agreed to the divorce on February 29, 1996. The official decree was finalized on July 15, 1996, with the decree absolute released on August 28, 1996, marking the end of their marriage. The divorce settlement revealed a significant financial arrangement. Diana retained her title as Princess of Wales, but had to give up her Royal Highness status. She was given access to state apartments at St. James's Palace, allowed to use royal jets, and kept her Kensington Palace residence. She received a lump sum payment of about $22.5 million and a $600,000 annual allowance for her private office. Though this support ended in September 1990s, she was also granted security from the Metropolitan Police's Royalty Protection Group to ensure her safety. Despite the tumultuous end to her marriage, Diana embraced her new chapter with resilience. She described the divorce as the beginning of a fresh start, demonstrating remarkable strength and optimism as she moved forward in her life. The end of a fairy tale. After her divorce from Prince Charles, Princess Diana found solace in a relationship with Dr. Hasnat Khan, a heart and lung surgeon, whom she met in September 1995. Their romance was private and marked by Diana's affectionate nickname for him, Mr. Wonderful. However, their relationship, which lasted 2 years, eventually ended due to Khan's reluctance to go public, despite his praises of Diana in court. Diana was also rumored to have had connections with several men, including married art dealer Oliver Hoare and rugby player Will Carling, but she denied these claims. The most notable post-divorce relationship was with Dodi Fayed, a film producer and the son of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed. Their high-profile romance was closely followed by the media, especially during their summer 1997 getaway on Fayed's luxurious yacht. Tragically, Diana and Fayed's story ended abruptly on August 31st, 1997. They were involved in a fatal car crash in Paris's Pont de l'Alma tunnel caused by their driver, Henri Paul, who was intoxicated and speeding while being pursued by paparazzi. The collision claimed the lives of Diana, Dodi, and Henri Paul and brought an end to any hopes of reconciliation between Diana and Charles. Charles paid Diana an unexpected visit at Kensington Palace on her 35th birthday. Their meeting, marked by playful banter and tea, was a stark contrast to their later years of marital discord. This light-hearted exchange was a fleeting reminder of their past, overshadowed by the tragedy that followed. Diana's death sparked global mourning, and her funeral became an international event. The official inquest in 2004 and again in 2007-2008 concluded that reckless driving by Henri Paul and the aggressive pursuit of paparazzi were to blame, with the jury ruling it as unlawful killing. In a symbolic gesture at Diana's funeral, Prince Charles wore a navy suit instead of traditional black mourning attire. This choice was a subtle nod to Diana's preference for him in navy, reflecting their shared history and his respect for her memory. Charles's gesture was a quiet tribute to their past, from their fairy tale wedding to the painful end of their marriage and Diana's untimely death. And that's a wrap. Thanks for sticking around, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.